Before we dive in, a quick shout out to the community that makes this possible. This show is brought to you by the You Run Podcast Network, a space where everyone is heard, loved and welcomed. To support the creators and find your next favourite show, please visit yourunpodcast.com.
You want to die tonight?
Late at night I tune into your show, where you talk horror with a unique flow. Your voice is like sirens, draws me in, as you pick apart movies on murder and sin. Scar and marks at the scene. I hang on every word lost in the screen. Your passion for fear is contagious enough. You make me believe in Mark's fucking long roundups. You run podcast, horror movie review, sharing facts and playing games too. Your words paint pictures of darkness and dread, leaving me grinning long after you fled. You run podcast. You run podcast.
The fuck up.
Hello and welcome back to the You Run Podcast. My name is Scott
My name is Mark.
and I am loving our new intro music for 2026.
Very, very cool. Very cool indeed.
Very cool. We are back. We have a new format. We have lots of new things. We've been the same show now for, well, a long time, 2 years at least.
Yeah. You went through a stage early on in the gig for like mixing it up quite a lot, but the last iteration seems to have stuck for quite a while.
Yeah. And you and me had a chat over Christmas and decided that it was time to have a bit of a revamp and change the way we do things. For some people, it's gonna be a big change. So now we are doing it different. So the way it works now is you're going to get a spoiler-free overview and our reviews, initial thoughts, and scores of the movie right at the beginning of the show. After that, we're going to do a deep dive into whatever we want to talk about. We will not do play-by-play, but we will do all the good bits or all the bits that we think are good, and probably all the bits we think are dreadfully shit as well. After that, we're going to do games and other bits, but before we do that, we'll give you our final thoughts. So final thoughts, the whole review, start to finish, opening, deep dive, final thoughts, all happen in one segment. Then we're going to go into games, interactive features, things you can play along with. Facts is gone. We've been facts. That is now going to be scattered throughout the episode. And we've also been recommended account to bring in Mark's brand new feature, VHS Hunt.
Not quite sure how that's going to work yet, but we will ease it in over the next few episodes, I feel.
See, I like the fact that we have no idea how it's going to work, but we're doing it right now. Like in a minute, it's going to happen.
Yeah, I think things work better off the cuff, and people prefer that with this show anyway. So this is our trial run episode. I think it's going to be a blast. I think the new format's going to work quite well.
I hope so. And it really is different. Like, it's very different. So if you are a regular listener, brace yourself, because this is not the same beat by beat. All the bits you used to skip to get to the bits you wanted to get to, you can't do that anymore. You need to listen to the whole thing. If you're a new listener, welcome to the show. We are a horror movie review show. We are completely run and controlled by you. You pick the movies every single week on our Instagram. It's at You Run Podcast. And that's about it. It's just me and Mark having some beers, shooting the shit, and just talking shit about horror movies. Today we kick off the year with a listener request, and it's a request for John Carpenter's Vampires. This request was actually won by Dave B Movies in the longest running game we ever had on the show, and we'll never do that again.
Man, I had fucking sleepless nights over that game. I really did. I am so glad we are not doing that anymore.
It's completely done. This episode will also feature the last ever appearance of Broken Spirit, the quiz that has been broken too many times. It is the Bonnie Blue of quizzes. Everyone has smashed it, so it needs to be removed. At some point, something will replace it. but today will be the last ever one. And that, again, is part of Dave's request. I'm going to kick this off. John Carpenter's Vampires is a refreshing take on vampires. It's got rid of the gothic tone and the romanticized sort of seducers that we've seen a million times over and replaced them with just vicious, almost werewolf-like animalistic creatures. They're more interested in ripping your throat out than they are in sucking blood. Like in this movie, you hardly see anyone get bitten and fed on. They just get fucking brutalized.
Twice. It happens twice in the whole movie.
Yeah. The vampire hunters have been given a revamp as well. They're not accidental heroes or fighting for the one they love. They're just a team of Vatican mercenaries led by a foul-mouthed, smoking, drinking, whoremongering Jack Crow.
Legend.
Jack Crow, amazing. The actor who plays him, absolute scumbag, but the character is fabulous. I haven't seen this for about 20 years, and I remembered so little. Like this was effectively a first watch for me. I really enjoy this movie. There are certain sections that drag, and I find it difficult to buy into this Western style vampire movie. And the reason I find it difficult to buy into is because it's been done better in an earlier movie by From Dusk Till Dawn. I think they do this premise better than vampires do. That being said, it's a fun film. I don't think anyone should sleep on it. I recommend it to anyone who loves vampire movies. Like this is a and choose your law. This is like everything you know about vampires. They went, yeah, we don't want half that shit. We just want this bit and this bit. And that I really liked. It worked for me. It is the most boob-filled, ridiculously gory, stupid plot, bad language, 80s-centric movie, but it's made in the mid-90s. And for that, I just applaud it because like the time that if this had come out in 1988, this would have been the greatest movie of that genre ever. It came out in the 90s and they just went, nah. John Carpenter went, nah, fuck it. Not doing any of this new 90s bullshit. I'm just giving you boobs and gore and swear words and some vampires and you're going to love it.
Well, it was the back end as well. It was 98, man. So it's like, it's not even like early to mid 90s. This is when the tide has massively changed. So to be doing a movie like this then is crazy.
Yeah, absolutely wild. It sits at a 3.5 out of 5 for me. It was fun in the moment when I watched it. I had a couple of beers. I had fun with it. I don't think I'll go back to it anytime soon.
That's all right. That's still fair. I think that is a general consensus for this movie. I think it's a very middle of the road movie that not many people talk about. However, for me, John Carpenter's Vampires is my vampire movie. This is a movie that I grew up watching. I had it on VHS as a kid. It was like my dad's that I'd managed to sneak upstairs to my room and obtain, and was one that I watched regularly for all of the reasons you've just said. Gratuitous gore, gratuitous boobs, bad language, and it's a B movie at its core. It's it's a massive B movie at its core, and that's I think why maybe this is a movie that stemmed my love for B movie horror, because in its essence, John Carpenter's Vampire is every straight to DVD B movie you would think of, with the terrible acting, the fat Baldwin, the over-the-top gore and nudity in order to draw in the audiences. The dialogue is absolutely shocking, and the performances from the leads are atrocious. However, everything about it just seems to work, in my opinion, and it's a really, really fun time that I'm always on board for watching. I put this movie on regularly just because it's just a casual, no-nonsense in the background type of movie that you don't need to pay a lot of attention to. However, when you do pay attention to it, I think the stuff they do with the lore building around Valak and him and his unique side of his reverse exorcism as being a sort of lead vampire stuff is really, really clever. And again, all those things you mentioned about how it flips the narrative of normalized vampires on its head, you pay attention to those differences within this movie because of that reason, because they do things that are so unusual in what we're told is vampire lore. For instance, if I just want to give a vague thing, they don't need to be invited in anywhere. So every time you see them come in uninvited, you're like, you should not be allowed to do that. But really, who is the one that makes these rules?
Yeah, and I love the fact that it's the Catholic Church. Like, the Catholic Church fucked up and tried to cover it up, and I was like, how on brand for the Catholic Church. That was fucking on the head. Perfect.
Exactly. Yeah. And I just think from John Carpenter, it is one of his better movies. As much as I love Halloween, you guys know that's my favorite movie. I don't feel John Carpenter has put out many other great movies, barring Halloween, The Thing, and I would probably categorize John Carpenter's Vampires as one of them. I have a soft spot for Ghost of Mars as well.
Yeah, are you dogging on Ghost of Mars?
No, I have a soft spot for Ghost of Mars as well, but again, he's not got a great back catalogue. I know he's a big fan of like Big Trouble in Little China and things like that. They're not really my kind of genre, so I can't pass too much comment on those. But for me, I really, really love this movie. And I think John Carpenter's score throughout this is incredible. I love the hazy Western blues sort of guitar riffs that he goes for throughout this. It's really cool. If I have to criticize it for anything, I think the borderline 2 hour, I watched the remastered version of this on my latest rewatch, and it was close to 2 hours.
Yeah.
And I think I never found myself bored by it. And there wasn't really a lot of it that I felt I would probably cut out because it never suffered from the pacing for it. But I just think, considering the basic nature of what this movie is and how B-movie schlock it is, I really don't know where the justification for the runtime comes from. But at the same time, I don't know what I would cut from it either in order to tighten it up.
I think if you're going to trim anyway, you trim around that hotel section. Like, leave the bit in where she's naked across the bed, because that was fucking glorious, and we'll talk about that later. But the dialogue of, like, I don't know, Budget Baldwin, where he goes and sits in the chair.
Baldwin, I just call him. I don't actually know which one he is. I think he's Daniel. Is he Daniel Baldwin, that one?
Yeah, it's Daniel Baldwin. We'll burn a fact now. The other Baldwin, Alec Baldwin, the famous one, was cast in the role. He decided he didn't want to do it, so gave it to his brother and let John Carpenter know. And John Carpenter had a minor meltdown and went, that's great, but I don't know who the fuck your brother is, so maybe he should come and read for the role first, because I'm not just giving it to him. But Alec Baldwin went, yeah, I can't do it. My brother's doing it, though. It's fine.
But the thing is, they all look alike. Apart from Stephen. I think Stephen's the only one who has a unique look about him, but all the rest of them look the same. And 9 times out of 10, when I see a Baldwin of a movie, I'm like, you guys have had some changing in images throughout your careers, and I usually have to Google to find out which one it actually is who's playing the role, because sometimes they do look the same. But regardless of that, anyway, I'll give you my overall score for this movie. It's 4.5 out of 5. I love John Carpenter's Vampires. It's a big favorite of mine, and I know it's a very, very strange opinion to have on a movie that's so middle roading for a lot of people, but I just love it, and I have no apologies for that.
Yeah, and that's fine. Also, one thing I wanted to mention to you, some of the casting of the vampire hunters, did you notice that Shang Tsung was in there from Mortal Kombat?
I did, and funnily enough, this could be like our memoriam episode for him, because he passed away just before Christmas.
And he's fucking great. And I'll be honest, the biggest sin in this movie is the fact they slay all the vampire hunters so early.
They do, because not a lot of them get a great deal of time to shine early on in that opening segment, which is cool as fuck. Be like, oh, this is going to be awesome. There's some really cool, recognizable faces here. They're going to have some great moments in the movie. And then within the first 15, 20 minutes, they're all gone. And you're like, oh, shit. As cool as it was to see them all go out the way they do, I was like, that was a massively missed opportunity.
Yeah, like nothing would have pleased me more than for Shang Tsung to fucking take the head off a vampire and go, fatality.
Yeah, that would have been cool as shit. But again, like, there's that guy in it as well who opens the door, gets cut in half first by Valak, and I see him everywhere. I always remember him as being the guy from Too Fast, Too Furious who gets a rat through his chest, but he's cool as well. We did something else, because I remember having this very similar conversation where he was in a movie we were covering last year, I think. Yeah,
and we said exactly the same thing. It's where they put the bin on him and heat him with the blowtorch, and the rat eats through his belly.
Yeah. Fast and Furious is a wild franchise, man.
It is. We don't cover that here, though. Anyway, let's take a quick break before we do our review.
Mama Mary on the left side, Spookster Neo on the mic tonight. Family Frights Podcast. Laugh till you scream, then laugh. Mama and her spooky son. Put the fun in the family scare. Family Frights Podcast. Ghost stories, giggles, gaps. Mama Mary Spookster Neo. This is where the cozy chills grow.
Turn the lights down, turn the volume up. If the call's from inside, we still pick it up. From cursed VHS to the thing you just streamed, we're your loud best friends inside your screen. This is horror friendly, pour it strong, talk deadly. Drinks and jokes get messy, cause you love so gently. Horror friendly, yeah, we dive in heady. New and old, get ready. Press play, don't tempt me.
Can you guess who got a Suno paid subscription package for Christmas?
I was literally. No, I'm not even gonna.
So yeah, those are our new ads. We've given them a bit of a revamp, tried to make them more catchy so you remember the shows of the You Run Podcast Network. Go to yourunpodcast.com. You'll find all of the shows there, including the Family Frights podcast, which is our newest edition. That is Mary, who probably most listeners will know as Lady Crisis, and our son Neo, who host a horror movie podcast but covering family movies. They've just done The Visit, which I was adamant was
Amazing.
like, I was adamant that's a proper horror movie, but it's a PG-13.
Yeah, it's wild, mate. It's wild that that movie's a PG-13 because that ending is fucking terrifying.
It really is. Like, I watched that and I was like, fuck, that's scary.
Yeah.
And yeah, like Neo's like 7 or 8. He's like, yeah, this is cool. Like on the episode's like, yeah, it's not really that scary. It's a bit creepy. I'm like, fuck, man, it's terrifying. Also, the horror friendly podcast there, Katie and Chantel, who get drunk, get abusive, get loud, talk horror movies, and generally really, really good fun. You find all of those at yourunpodcast.com. While you're there, you can also find links to all of our socials. We are at You Run Podcast everywhere. Instagram is where you can go and vote on the episodes that get on this show. Every single episode is polled. You can also go and support us on Patreon, which is really, really cool. 7 days a week, you get content. You get early drops of this show. You get early drops of true crime. You get exclusive episodes, 3 a week. You also get 3 early releases of YouTube. And starting later this month, you are going to get the drop of my brand new podcast.
Excellent.
Which
What's the
Mark
new podcast?
knows nothing about. So there's a show I've been doing on YouTube for a little while, which is Voices with the You Run podcast, which is me and Angel from Voices from the Mausoleum. That has also had a revamp for the new year and is now going to be released in podcast format for all of you to enjoy as well.
Awesome.
So all of that on Patreon. It's less than a cup of coffee a month to get all of that and more. Like,
Yep.
just go and do it. It really, really helps us. Mark's waiting for me to recommend him. However, I'm not going to do that because we do that later in the show now. So
I just want to take the opportunity to apologize for Patreons because you should have had this episode probably about 3 or 4 days ago. And I've been full Christmas. So I hadn't had the opportunity to record this episode just yet.
No, that's
So that's
inappropriate.
that's inappropriate. You've just been told by Robin from Stranger Things.
well, that's why you haven't had an episode because I've been knee deep in Stranger Things for like a week and a half, literally watching it back to back, volume 5, that season 5.
Yeah, and I can't say that I've got a little bit of an obsession with Stranger Things at the moment.
Whoa, this is crazy.
However, I might have a little bit. Right, let's talk about this. Let's talk about the opening. The opening to this movie is fucking incredible. This bit where you get Jack Crow smoking a cigarette going, yeah, right, well, it's over there. We're going to fucking go over there and drag him out into the sun. I'm like, what the fuck is this? And the weapons, the silver spray painted Nerf guns.
The coolest shit, right?
His crossbow honestly looks like if you put a little bit of pressure on it, it would break into a billion pieces, but it's really cool.
So I want to just question the pulling them into the sun thing because, like, it's one thing that always annoys me about this movie. They never seem competent enough to easily dispatch a vampire.
No.
It's always a struggle, and the only way to fully do it is to drag them into sunlight.
Yeah, but he gives the whole speech of like, There's only two ways to kill a vampire. One, you drag him into the sun. The other, you stab him in the heart. But there's a bit in this opening scene as he's coming out with a vampire, he's stabbing the fuck out of it in the chest, and the vampire's just going, ah, and doing nothing.
I mean, to be fair, they do kill a few with the stake, but like they're still in full action mode as if like it's not over until it's out in the sun. So I'm like, so is it only getting them out in the sun that fully dispatches them? And is it just stabbing them in the heart that slows them down?
See, I think so. And I like the fact that they go the extra step to have a priest on the outside that as it burns, blesses it. Like the Padre's amazing. Also, practical effects on the burning of the vampires. John Carpenter just strap flares to a person and set
basically, or set someone in completely covered in magnesium and lit it. It's wild. It looks really, really good. And that was one thing going into this. I was like, because I haven't seen it in a couple of years, and I know I say I watch it regularly. I do, but it had been a good few years since I'd watched vampires, and I was like, oh man, I remember loving how good the practical effects are in this movie. And some of the kill sequences and stuff are really, really stand out. And I'm like, I don't know if this is going to really ruin my nostalgic love for this movie. And I'm going to, especially now I'm doing things from a critical standpoint with the podcast, am I going to start bashing on this film? And thankfully enough, after this first opening, I was like, no, we're in safe hands. This is cool as shit.
See, I hadn't watched it for so long, and I kind of went in going, I don't know what I'm getting. I know that Dave loves it. Obviously, he's requested it. I know that you love it. And I sat there really worried going, oh, am I going to be that guy? I've been that guy so many times in 2025.
I knew you never would be with this movie. I knew you wouldn't be.
I was really concerned. And like, as soon as the first one come out and like the fucking like out of its arms, and then like, and then the Padre come over and went, ashes to ashes, dust to dust, kiss my ass, motherfucker. I was like, do you know what? Actually, no, I'm in. And what the fuck is the deal with Baldwin? Like, he doesn't hunt vampires, he just works the winch.
Yeah, he's just a machine operator, isn't
he? Yeah, but like, how did he get a part on that vampire hunting team? Yeah, we're all gonna go in and kill him. He's like, yeah, I'm just gonna stay here and like, you shout when and I'll push go. And then the Padre will dispatch him, and then I'll like chuck the hook back in and you can do your shit.
Yeah, I have to assume he's just like best friends with Edward Woodward. I can't even think of his name now.
James Woods.
James Woods. Yeah, I just assume that those two characters are like besties, and he's just brought him on and keeps him safe because he's clearly very incompetent, as we will find out very soon.
Yeah, everything and every decision he makes, I just go, oh God, why does he keep you around? And there's even a point in the movie where James Woods is like, why the fuck are you still here? Like, you are no help to me whatsoever. You're just a dick.
Yeah. So yeah, I think his job is to be his friend and keep he's his anchor, isn't he? Really, he's more of the. But then again, like, I don't know if he is throughout the majority of the events that have unfolded before this movie, because it only takes him to get bitten for him to change his. He's very much like vampires, spitting on him and slapping him about and stuff. And then all of a sudden, he's now very empathetic once he's about to become one. Yeah,
and also, like, I can understand the empathetic build when he had that girl on in the motel. I can see why he's gone, do you know what? This vampire thing doesn't look that bad. It looks pretty nice from where I'm sat.
But again, though, like that scene, I was just like, dude, like, stupidity on another level, you know?
Yeah.
It's just like, you just don't do that. That's like it's like dangling a fish in front of a dolphin. It's obviously going to bite it. And as soon as he cut his arm, he's like, oh, bitch, fucking slut. And I'm like, dude, don't wave it in her face because she's going to eat it.
That is a soundbite for the new year, without a doubt. But the whole point in there is that, like, he establishes at the beginning, like, when you go into a nest, there's like the lackeys, and then you've got the master, and we're here to find the master. And they clear this nest and don't find it, and then they go back to the motel, which is, I don't know, like, they've just taken over this motel. Like, the local police aren't very happy, and they're like, yeah, we're rolling out of town tomorrow. And the police was like, thank fuck for that. And then you just survey this like motel lobby. There's hookers everywhere with more tits than you will see in any movie in the 90s. They're all getting drunk, they're all having sex, they're all smoking weed, and I'm like, what the fuck is going on? Like, just wild.
The power of the church, man. The power of the church.
Even the padre is getting down with the hooker.
Yeah, at one point he even asked him if he's on acid.
Yeah, and the padre's like, yeah, praise the Lord.
One thing I want to pull up though before we move too far forward is you mentioned on this bit early on in the beginning that the key objective is to hunt down the master and like wipe out the master within the vicinity of these nests. But it doesn't mean anything.
No.
Which we find out later on in the movie. Well, we find out at the end of the movie, it doesn't mean anything to take out the master. Like, it doesn't diminish the vampires themselves. It's not like you take out the master within the nest and then the nest fails. Similar to what you would when you go by Blade Trinity law, where you kill Dracula and the rest of the vampires die. It doesn't work here.
No, it doesn't. And it, again, I think this is great writing, because this is just the church has been gaslighting this team of vampire hunters going, kill the master. That's what you want to be getting, the masters, and everything's easy after that. And it's all bullshit. Like, everything the church has told these group of, I don't know, you can't even call them evangelical vampire.
No, because they're very not. They're very not. No, they're just picking out the biggest and baddest people they can find that are equipped to deal with this situation. I mean, James Woods is not a very religious man within this movie. His character isn't anyway.
He's not a very nice guy in this movie, and I think that's kind of what makes him likable. Is he's deliberately not likable. Let's
talk about James Woods for a moment.
Well, okay, let's do that.
Rule number 5: if you find the nest, you find the master. You usually won't leave it on its own. So it is strictly by the book today, gentlemen. Questions?
I have lots of questions about James Woods.
I do. I don't know about him personally, but you mentioned a comment earlier that makes me think this guy's not a very good guy. However, he is terribly miscast in this movie. I think he's great. I think he's very, very funny, but he does not hold the weight to be the action hero of this movie. He looks like everybody's dad in the 90s with his fucking denim wash jeans and his stupidly fitted leather jacket.
He wasn't their first choice. Bruce Campbell is who John Carpenter wanted.
That would have been amazing.
Yeah, Bruce Campbell was who he wanted. Bruce Campbell had scheduling conflicts. James Woods come in and read for it, and John Carpenter took him on. The problem with James Woods is he's just a bit of a dick. So he likes to ad-lib everything, and he's very like, I don't want to do it that way. I want to do it this way. I know what I'm doing. I know it better. He's that guy. Right. So John Carpenter from the very beginning went, right, this is how this is going to work. We'll shoot a scene. We'll do it my way, my script. And then after that, you can do an ad-lib version, and then we'll choose.
Yeah. What, and he got to pick whether he like what? There was like John Carpenter and James Wood sat down. He's like,
no. John Carpenter went, so look, I'll do my one, you do your one, and then we're going to look at both, and then I'm going to make a decision what one's best. 80% of what is in this movie is James Wood's ad-libs.
Oh, really? Oh, maybe the guy does know what he's saying then.
Yeah, so like all of the really wild shit that he says, a lot of that was not scripted. That was just him just being rambling. The probably the most famous one that is completely ad-libbed was, did that give you wood, father? You know, when I beat you up, like, did that give you a bit of mahogany? I was like, what the fuck?
I did like that. The thing is, though, just for me, I like, again, I like this movie because it all just comes together in a very good package, you know, but if you strip it down and break it down into sections, he just doesn't work as this character.
No, and I don't think the Baldwin as Montoya, who's meant to be this kind of like almost like his guide who helps him through these difficult times, like he's no good because he doesn't do what you want a friend to do. He's constantly arguing with him, constantly fucking, well, you forgot rule number 5 and you forgot rule number 7. And Jack Crow's normal response is to, you're going to shut the fuck up or I'm going to shoot you. Like, yeah. it all goes wrong when they meet the prostitute.
Yes.
And the prostitute. So Valak turns up at the hotel, which I'll be honest, this scene's amazing. So the master from this first house they've cleared is actually in the dirt outside, and he gets up, gives zero fucks that there's a vampire hunting team, and goes to their motel and just kind of walks in and goes, yeah, you kind of fucked up my house earlier, and massacres everybody.
Yeah. In an excellent fashion as well. The kills in this are amazing. My favorite is the one where he punches his arm through the chest of one guy to grab the throat of the guy behind him, rips his throat out, and then pulls his arm back through, and it looks amazing. I was like, oh, that is so fucking cool.
Yeah, he's quite a good character. I don't know who plays him, but I think he plays the character very well, because he's got no remorse. He's not even got any joy. He's not taking pleasure in what he's doing. It's very much you done this to me, now I'm going to do this to you, but I'm going to make it worse.
Yeah.
And I like that about him. And also the fact that he turns is she a hooker before I classify her as
yeah, they are. Yeah, she's played by Cheryl Lee. She is definitely a prostitute within.
Yeah.
She's part of the group of prostitutes. So there.
Yeah, so he turns her, is one of the only people who gets turned in the movie. And then Jack Crow, Montoya, and her all get away in the car. And this is where the movie starts to fall apart a bit for me. Like, you get this kind of like, I don't know what, it's like side quest. So Montoya takes her to a hotel and goes and buys a bag of burgers. I don't know if this is a thing in the States. Like, here, if you and me went for a burger, we'd order the burgers we want.
Yeah.
But he goes, like, takes her to the hotel. She wakes up, she's naked. He leans over her, very weird and leery. He's like, don't worry, I took your clothes off and I cleaned you up, and I've got a bag of burgers. There's a selection. We have some with bacon and some with cheese and some that are just plain. I didn't know what you'd like. Also, maybe I'll put a cover over you now. Well, what's he been doing for the 25 minutes while she's been sleeping, just sat in a chair, just rubbing himself?
I mean, she's a prostitute, isn't she? Do you know what I mean? She's used to the nudity of it all, which was why I was a bit shocked by she was so offended that she was naked. However, the burger selection thing, I mean, yeah, he's obviously trying to cater. He doesn't know. She might be vegetarian. She might be vegan. You know, he's just bringing a range. He's just bringing a range to satisfy her.
He's got a McFish sandwich in there as well, just in case.
Chicken mayo on the side. But I mean, I don't know. I never have issues with any of this stuff, because it's not necessarily a side quest. What we find out is that Valak, the head vampire, he says Jack Crow's, is it Jack Crow?
Yeah.
Jack Crow's name. He says his name, in which Jack immediately is like, how the fuck does this dude know who I am? Which then sends him on a side quest to find out what
that side quest is great, where he goes to the local church and speaks to the cardinal. He's like, well, the cardinal's like, we're going to send you back to the Vatican to rebuild your team. He's like, the fuck you are? This motherfucker knew my name. So one of you, either you or this new fucking padre here, have like, let my shit go, or there's something else. But either way, he's like, we'll cut off your funding. Jack Crow's like, I don't give a fuck. Like, do what you want. Like, I'm going to kill him.
Yeah. Yeah, which is really, really cool. And I think this is where you start to unfold a little bit of the lore of Valak and who he is and how he was the first. Which is what we find out. Well, kind of. We get this information drip fed to us throughout the course of the movie. We get a bit of it here within the Catholic Church, and then we also find out later when James Woods is about to torture the new padre in the bathroom, which is really, really cool scene. But I like this exposition side of things. And again, I suppose what I was saying in my earlier roundup was, I don't know what I would cut. These scenes do tend to sort of drag, but they also they give us a lot of information that we kind of need for the weight and the impact of the characters, especially Valak as a key antagonist. So I don't know. It's one of those really difficult things where, like, yeah, you could have probably cut down James Wood's monologue by 10 minutes here and there, but I kind of love that stuff at the same time. It does detract a lot from the action and the momentum of the story, but it's vital in order to hold the weight of it.
There's only two good things I really take from here. Like the good thing that I think is really good is the fact that the hooker is linked to Valak, and they can basically use her like Vecna used Will in Stranger Things season 5 to spy
This is going to be a recurring thing for the next couple of months, by the way, guys.
It is. I'm not saying the Duffer Brothers plagiarized. However, this is exactly what happens here. And also, we get the addition of the new Padre, and the guy who plays Padre, fucking best character in the whole movie. He's so good.
Really, really cool. Really cool. He has some really key moments that are like, yeah, man, I like you, because he starts off as such a churchgoer, but before the end of it, he's fully invested in Jack's team. He's a full-fledged member, and I'm like, yeah, you're cool, man.
It's the bit like he's like, so who sold me out, Padre? He's like, I don't know what you're on about. So who's this Valak? He's like, I have no idea. And Jack Crow just pulls the car over, drags him out of the car, and beats the fuck out of him. And then he like confesses, like, oh no, it's Valak, and we know all about it. And he's after this special cross, and we used it in the reverse exorcism. And he literally spills all the beads. Then they get back in the truck, and they're driving along. And this is where James Woods gives us all the rules for the vampires now.
Don't turn into bats. Crosses don't work. Garlic? You want to try garlic? You stand there with garlic around your neck. One of these buggers will bend you fucking over and take a walk up your strata chocolata while he's sucking the blood out of your neck, all right?
He's vulgar as fuck in this movie, honestly.
The thing is, I needed, like, if you've not seen this movie and you're watching this to like gauge whether you should watch it or not, I needed these sound bites, because if you went into this blind, within 3 minutes you'd be like, what did he say? I need to rewind it. Did he actually just say that? And there are some things in here he says that are terribly dated, that are really not very nice, that I kind of went, oh, you probably shouldn't be saying that. And like, I know it was a product of its time. However, even at its time, that was right on the fucking line of what you should not say.
You say that though, but it's not a product of its time, and that's the issue with it. You know, it's a late 90s movie. You know,
it's like the most 80s.
Yeah, like you're watching
70s.
this with 80s dialogue and 80s offensive remarks, but this came out 2 years before the millennium. You know, it's insane that he got that through. I mean, I'll go ahead and say it now. He uses the word fag in this movie and calls someone a fag, and you're like, oh no, don't do that. That's not cool to use it in that way. And then but like at the same time, you're like, shit, this is an 80s movie. I know it happens quite a lot in 80s movies. You know, you hear it all the time. Still not cool, but I guess it was a product of its time. And then you realize, oh, actually, no, this is 2 years before the turn of the millennium. This should definitely not have been used in this movie.
No, this came out the same year as Blade, which, funnily enough, they both follow the same plot of a vampire trying to become a daywalker by doing an ancient ritual, which I thought was really cool.
Yeah.
It's a weird movie.
Yeah.
Like, there's some stuff in this that's just bizarre, like the whole Montoya plot where he gets bitten by the girl vampire, or the prostitute who's become a vampire, and then he kind of does he fall in love with her, or just realize that his best chance of survival is staying with her?
I think it's just his empathy for her as a character. And I disagree with you with not liking this, because I think it's the most compelling side of this story. And as much as I shit on him for being the fat Baldwin, I do feel like him in this moment and the arc that he gets as he transitions through the story is really, really compelling. And especially again with the female vampire, I think she's a really key role in this movie. The stuff that she goes through and the changes and the fear she has of becoming this vampire. And then you see, once she does change, the immediate sass that she brings to the character as this just fucking outright slayer. I'm like, yo, that's cool, man. You know, and I don't know. I think I was more invested in Montoya's arc than I was in Jack's arc than overall. I think he gets a lot to play with here. And I think he makes the most of it, you know. And I know I comment quite a lot on the bad acting in this movie. It's very schlocky. But even considering he's probably the worst of the Baldwins in terms of his acting capabilities, I think he does a very good job. Not all the time, but the majority of the time throughout this film.
Yeah, see, the arc I was invested in is the arc of Valak. I was really interested to see what he was going to do. So he goes after this special magical cross that honestly looks like it was bought in the pound store. He massacres a monastery, and then they get themselves held up in like a jail in this old western town, and Jack Crow and Montoya and the Padre go in to clear them all out. Like this I was really invested in, how they're down in the basement of this old like prison and they need to work out all the shit with the lift. Like this is straight out of like Resident Evil style. We need to do this so this works so we can do that. And like this, I was like, this is fucking brilliant.
But again, like you're saying that you're really invested in the Valak arc of the story. I disagree, and I think that's the weakest element of the story, because he is just portrayed as a generalized head vampire. There's not a lot of elements to or layers to his character. He falls in line of being the big bad in a James Bond movie, in my opinion. You know, he discloses his opinion quite a lot, and I think it's the stuff around him with the prostitute seeing his visions and James Wood's character and the Catholic Church coming in and disclosing tidbits of information. But if you strip it down to its bare bones and you look at Valak as a character, I think he's very easily dispatched in the end, and I think he's very underutilized in terms of his, considering what they make him out to be in the story. They make him out to be the original. He's the one. He's the one that created it. He's the one that started this all. He's the one that we should be all fear and all knowing. But at the end of the day, he's not. He's a very much a basic bitch in terms of vampire head bosses. And I think more could have been done with his character. And I think he's held up massively by the other characters around him building his lore for him for the audience, you know, and that's one thing that does disappoint me slightly. And that's what probably brings my score from a 4.5 instead of a 5, because I do love this movie unconditionally, but I just think there are other vampire movies that have better final grandeurs in terms of their lead character of the vampire that give him more threat, give them more, yeah, you know, and I think that's it. And I think the character of Valak looks really cool. Valak looks really, really cool. And he's a very menacing. And when he does have his chance to shine, he fully fulfills that. But there are moments where I'm like, you're just being held up by the exposition of everybody else around you at this point. And when it finally comes to the end sequence where he should be completely tearing down the arse of these entire cast, he doesn't do a great deal, apart from having a couple of little wonky monologues.
Yeah, I do like it when he's got James Wood tied up and he's going to crucify him, and
he's hid behind the power of the priest. You know, that's what annoys me. It's like it's the priest who is in this moment the big bad, and Valak's kind of there, just sort of stood behind him, just telling James Woods to shut his mouth. And that again is one of the things. You know, it's like, and then you've got Padre stood on top of the building, calling his bluff and threatening it. I'm like, you're supposed to be this fucking big ass, but do something. Take that fiery stick in your hand and throw it through that priest's head. Do your sermon another day.
Yeah, the thing is, there's bits of this, like this element here, I really, really enjoyed. I love the fact that they're going to crucify him, and the priest is like, yeah, this is what you, the cardinal's like, yeah, this is what we need to do the ritual, blah, 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 blah. But they tied him to the crucifix. If you're a vicious vampire and a cardinal with no remorse, you're telling me you're not going to nail that fucker to the cross? I was like, wow, come on. Like, why? Yeah. Why have you not done that? But James Woods has the best line in the entire movie here. And I died laughing. I had to pause it and rewind it because I missed a chunk of dialogue because I was literally cackling. Where he goes, hey, Valak, can I ask you a question? Valak's like, what? He's like, after all these years, could you still get it up? That dick still work? I was fucking dead. I'm like, why is that relevant? What's that got to do with anything at all? But it broke me so much.
Yeah. Yeah. And again, I suppose the tactic side of things, it's trying to break his train of thought, you know.
It fucking broke mine.
It pissed me off that he didn't answer the question, I'll be honest.
To be fair, as someone who aspires to one day be turned into a vampire and live forever, that's an important question I could have done with the answer for. My main takeaway from this is the fact the church is corrupt, like corrupt as fuck. And it's so funny to me how John Carpenter portrayed the church as this nefarious, horrible thing that lies to everyone and covers everything up, and how accurate that is to actual real life. It blew my mind how well he done it. Because he basically said, well, the church fiddles with kids and lies, but I can't say that. So the church done this and lied. And it's literally clear as day, the message in this movie. It's funny as fuck.
Yeah. I mean, John Carpenter, for all his sins, he's not really afraid to say what he thinks, and I think he put that into words perfectly with this movie, with his stance on religion and the Catholic Church as a whole. But I don't know. I don't know.
Do you know Carpenter was about to retire before he done this?
That would have been disappointing. He probably should have retired after this.
Yeah, so he was ready to retire, didn't want to do any more movies. He had a really bad feedback on Escape from LA, and in his words, it had just stopped being fun. He was offered this, and he'd always wanted to do like a Western style movie, so he took it. And then he worked with James Woods, and it was the doing this movie and working with James Woods that he actually had fun again, and decided not to retire.
So what did he make after this, other than Ghost of Mars? There was a couple. There was one that he had with like Amber Heard, which was like his last movie. And to be honest with you, I hope for John Carpenter's sake he makes another movie before he dies, because that is a bad ship to sail onto the sunset with.
Yeah, well, he's currently working on The Thing with Blumhouse.
Yeah, but again, this is just like his collaboration with the Halloween franchise. He's speculating and putting his input, but he's not actually.
Just give the man what he wants. He's been asking for it for years. Let him direct a adaptation of Dead Space.
Yeah.
Just
and again, he loves the game, so why would he not?
Well, exactly. Like he said for years, like if there ever comes a script for Dead Space that's up for grabs, I want to do it. Give it to him. Like, even if it's shit, it's got John Carpenter's name on it. You're going to make a ton of fucking money.
I'm pretty sure we're getting a TV series of that, aren't we?
I don't know. Probably.
I'm sure. I mean, I could be talking shit here, but I'm pretty sure I've seen recently somewhere that there is. I think it's even Amazon. I'm sure it's an Amazon thing.
Yeah,
I might be wrong.
Yeah, maybe. Is there anything else you want to dive into in this before we rock on?
No, not particularly. There's nothing really. I do like the ending. I think obviously because I've spoke so highly about Montoya's arc and his story, I really like the final confrontation between him and Jack, as he basically lets him go. And they say the rules: if your partner is bitten, you never let them live. Yeah. But he does, and he has a heart in this moment, which I think is really touching, which also makes me think I was right with my theory that these two are friends outside of this group, and that's why Jack's probably brought him in as like his best friend. But the whole heartfelt sort of, you've got 2 weeks and I will find you and I will kill you is really, really cool. And I kind of feel like that was a setup for the sequel.
Yeah, which I haven't seen. I think there's a couple.
No, the sequel's not that. You know, the sequel has John Bon Jovi in the lead role as the new Jack. Yeah, there's a different character, different name, different set of people, but it's not this, you know. But it kind of sets it up at the end as if to say, right, the sequel's going to follow this direction. He's going to be hunting down him, and I thought that was really cool, and I liked that a lot. And it was a good scene between the two of them, and it felt really heartfelt. But other than that, no, there's not really a lot else I want to dive into with vampires.
The only thing I want to dive into is Padre. So Padre at the beginning, we said super churchgoer, and you said by the end he is fully in. Yeah. And the closing line of this movie is this:
when you were stabbing that vampire in there, yeah, did you get a little wood?
Mahogany.
Excuse me?
Ebony.
What?
Teak.
Are you possessed by demons?
Major chubby.
Language, Padre, language. Come on.
That close to this film as they're walking off and like the credits start to roll. I was like, that is arguably the best ending to a movie ever. That's on the same level as From Dusk Till Dawn, where it's like, I don't give a fuck how crazy you are. Psychos do not explode. It's like that level of good.
Yeah, it's really good. It's very, very good in all honesty. And again, that's why it's got the score it has for me. I love this movie a lot.
Yeah, it really, really good. I'm going to round this up. I had fun with this film. I think Jack Crow is a great character. Practical effects are pretty good. Like, I was really surprised at how good they were. Like, come this time in film, lots of things have started to shift over more into CGI. And I really get the feeling that John Carpenter was like, no, we're not doing any of that bullshit. Have you got a flare? Strap a flare to that guy over there and drag him out of that building while we kind of try not to set him on fire. That's how we're going to do it. And I really appreciated that. I like the fact that they've fucked around with the law. Garlic doesn't work. Crosses don't work because they're actually from the church. Like the vampires are churchgoers, which I thought was great. The whole cast do a great job. Like everyone in here does exactly what you need them to do, even from the bit part characters, even down to the hookers. Like the hookers in that motel are really, really believable. I find some of the bits quite dull unless it's focusing on Padre or on Jack Crow. If you're a fan of vampire films, you're definitely going to enjoy this. I can see where it took inspiration from things like From Dusk Till Dawn, and obviously Blade come out the same year, and it's got lots of comparisons with that. I don't think it's the best work that John Carpenter's done, but it's in his top sort of 20% of movies. Yeah. I think it's good. It's probably the best I've ever seen James Woods. I don't think he's good in a lot, but in this, he's
anything other than this.
He's been in loads, and he normally plays an antagonizing, annoying little prick, which in this he does, but that's kind of his role. So yeah, I really like it. I stand by my score, 3.5 out of 5.
All right, no changes from you. I mean, there's definitely not going to be any changes from me. There's nothing that we've discussed this evening that's made me up or lower my score or hinder my love for this film. It's just a really, really fun time, and there isn't really anything else I can say about it other than that. You know, it's one of those movies where I put a post up about this earlier, and someone commented on it saying it goes great with a cold beer. And that is probably the best way that I could sum John Carpenter's vampires up. It pairs perfectly with a cold beer. You know, it's one of those movies where you talk about films like Commando and all those 90s Arnie movies and Sylvester Stallone movies that your dad used to love when you were growing up and you'd watch late one night with him. This is that movie, but just with a more horror tone to it. And I think for that reason is probably it's probably why I love it as much as I do. I think it holds a big nostalgia for me that I'll never shake, and I'll never hate on the movie for that. And I mentioned in my earlier roundup where I was a little bit more forthcoming with the proper critical things that I like, such as the score and the acting and things like that. But this generalized roundup, I just want to say that I just think it's great. And I think for those of you who haven't seen it, I would go in with low expectations and have a really good time with it regardless. If you're going to go in and expect The Thing or Halloween, it's not that John Carpenter type of movie. You know, it's really not. And I think the people that go in with those expectations, which is probably why this movie isn't so much talked about these days, is because they watched it and was like, what the fuck was that? However, now, if you go back and give this another opportunity, I think it might surprise you.
If you go in expecting Ghosts of Mars, you'll walk away from this pleasantly surprised.
Exactly that. Yeah. This is very much Ghost of Mars level John Carpenter, but more heavily leaning towards like the cinematography and direction and stuff like that is vastly improved upon some of his later work. His scores utterly fantastic throughout this. It's a fun time, you know. It's just a 90s cheesy vampire movie with fantastic practical effects, and there isn't really anything else I can say about it. It's still a 4.5 out of 5 for me.
Fabulous. So our scores stayed the same. Do you like this, people? Let us know, because now we have options to change our scores. And now it's time for something that Dave requested.
Broken Spirit 2.0.
Now, Dave requested that Mark face Broken Spirit.
However, this is our show.
Well, it's not the show, but you and me spoke about this over the Christmas break, how whenever there's a forfeit, whenever there's a challenge, whenever there's some shit to do, it always lands on poor little Mark's shoulders, and he gets a little bit upset, and people say mean things to him, and he ends up saying,
"Shut the fuck up."
I mean, I would have quite happily taken on Broken Spirit again, as I always like to do. However, because Dave requested it, because it was Dave, I just felt like I needed to rebel a little bit. So we have come to the joint decision that we're going to flip the narrative this week, and Scott is going to take on Broken Spirit. And I've written the questions for him this week. So are you prepared?
I am. I'm going to break Broken Spirit for the last time and then send it off into the sunset.
I've been pretty fair to you, to be honest with you. When I've created the questions this week, I've done them around movies that you should know or movies that we've had on the show. However, they do, as the game always goes, start off fairly easy and increase in difficulty by the time we get to the end. There is no way you are getting question 10. And I made sure there is no way you're getting question 10. Because if this is the end of Broken Spirit, you're not going out on a win, my friend.
Okay, well, let's see how I do. Fire away. I'm ready.
Right. Question number 1. What year did John Carpenter's Vampires release?
1998.
That is correct. Well done. Question number 2. How many people does Vecna need to kill in order to break through to Hawkins in season 4 of the Stranger Things?
Season 4. Oh, see, that's sneaky because I instantly went season 5, but it's 12, but no, it's not.
I knew this would get you because I knew you'd be in season 5 mode.
Season 4 is 4 people.
That is correct. Well done.
It's nasty.
That was a little bit nasty. I apologize, but I just tried to trick you a little bit. So, question number 3. What is the total kill count across all 10 Saw movies? And as you can see, this is massively steeping up. And just to be clear, I'm going to give you an allowance of... I'll let you decide. Do you want a tolerance or do you want multiple choice?
Give me multiple choice, I think.
Okay. Right, so number 1, 77. Number 2, should I do ABC or is 1, 2 working for you?
What's working for me?
Number 2, 84. Number 3, 96. Or number 4, 111.
It's 10 movies. Hold on, because some of these movies, they only kill like fucking 3 people. I'm going to go for the first one, 77.
You're not even going to think about it.
No, I'm going for 77.
77 across 10 movies. I'm already encouraging you not to go with the answer you're about to give.
Okay, what were my other options?
I don't know, because I just didn't have multiple choice as my initial thing. I only know the actual answer now, and I can't remember what
okay, right. You're going to have to give me a tolerance then. I'm going to say 90.
Do you want to go a bit higher with that?
Okay, we'll go.
You can't go out of question 3 already.
All right, I'm going to say 111.
Oh, it actually is 111. There's no way you've guessed 111 that quickly.
Shut the fuck up.
Right, I got that one right. Next question. Quickly moving on. No corruption in this game. Fuck with like the
right.
Catholic
Okay,
Church.
that's it. No more help now. I did feel that one was a little bit tricky earlier on, but I know you're a big Saw fan, and because you write the quiz every single week, I thought you would be pretty clued into kill counts.
You thought wrong.
I did. Right. Question number 4. How many Tremor movies are there? And I know this is your wheelhouse. You're a Tremor.
This is. Tremors 2.
Dave did specify that it needed to be the hardest version of Broken Spirit.
It's either 12 or it's 14.
Right. I'll tell you now that neither of those answers are correct.
Well, that's upsetting. I know there's a Tremors 7.
Right.
So Tremors 9.
But
I'm trying to think.
What's the last one you can remember is Tremor 7?
Yeah, that's the last one I can remember seeing. I'm sure there's more.
Are you though? I'm not saying there is or there isn't.
No, I'm gonna say fucking hell. 9.
You're out. You're terrible at this game.
You are truly a pile of dog shit, Cardinal.
Dave specified extremely hard.
He did. How many were there?
There is 7. You were right when you said the last one you've seen. You love this franchise and you have seen them all.
Yeah, I have multiple times. And I think
why didn't you just go with the last one you'd seen, which you knew?
I don't, and I think when we were away at For Love of Horror, I think it was Tremors 7 that I was watching when you come in to get me. Mark's gone all muted on me. He's gone silent. This is not a good start to the new year. And he's back. Technical difficulties. Sorry.
I don't know what happened there. I just started seeing a swirly circle. It was Tremors 4 you were watching, the Western one, I think.
Yeah, really cool.
Yeah,
anyway, well,
do you want to do any further questions, or are you happy retiring on that and not knowing?
I'm happy retiring on that and not knowing. Broken Spirit is dead. New quiz coming soon. I'm pretty sure someone will be the guinea pig for that, and it will not be me. 3-word review.
No, dude, listen, just remember that this came from Dave. I didn't want to be that nasty.
Oh, I know. It's fine. The new quiz is going to be fun and not as horrible, maybe. 3-word review is back. This is where we put up a picture of the movie and just ask you to review it in 3 words only. I'm being really strict. Like, if your 3-word review is shit, or I've seen it, or I don't like it, or whatever, like, it's not getting on unless it's funny or really divisive and will make me and Mark complain. So Leprechaun 81, Imitation Dave, is the voice you hear at the beginning of every show, went with useful bitten prostitute. And then I had a conversation with Dave. He's like, she's multi-purpose. Not only can she have sex with you, but she can find your enemies. I'm like, do you know what? You're right. AMP FX Studios went with I Got Wood.
Brilliant. I was hoping somebody was going to use that.
Chainsaw Chicken Barbecue went with Little Mahogany Padre. This girl loves horror. Like, Becky, this is really, I don't know what to say to you. It's pretty shit.
Yeah. I had this conversation with her earlier, and I was very disappointed, to be honest with you. I've now blocked her and unfriended her, and she's no longer going to be a feature on this show.
It was really, really weird. Becky, like, what's wrong with you? Bloody Babble. Carpenter's Cowboy Vamps.
Yes.
Like that a lot. And then Mike the Movie Misfit. Double movie reference. The Cooler Valak. Because Valak is also the nun in The Nun.
Right. Okay. Yeah. I didn't know. See, I'd heard the Valak thing before, and I didn't know why in this movie they didn't just go with Vlad. Vlad would have been more.
Yeah, more fitting, definitely. Yeah. And also, I could have had endless fun with that because my ex-wife's new boyfriend / husband is called Vlad, and I joke that he's called Vlad the Impaler because he's got a big wang. And Mark keeps cutting out. He's gone on mute and he's just smiling at me again. This is not a good return episode. I'm going to pause. Hold on. And we're back.
How do you know that information about Vlad?
I'm just assuming. Like, he looks like he's got a big one.
Oh, okay. Okay. So that divorce makes sense.
Yeah. Oh, man. I lost track of voicemails over Christmas. I'm not going to lie. I did cobble some together, but I'll be honest, I don't know if I missed any. I spent most of Christmas period in half-dressed states, half-drunken states, fetching food and drink at various times of the day, not really knowing what's going on. So, yeah, if I missed your voicemail, I'm really, really sorry. But, hey, it's just been one of those. Right, let's start with the voicemails. Let's kick it off with this one.
Hi guys, just watched Black Phone, and after that fiasco with a forfeit, I think Mark should be made to do exactly the same forfeit next time, but he's ordered to write a script for his roundup. That way he's got no excuse for losing his train of thought. Later, and have a Merry Christmas, both of you.
Fuck you, Dev.
In addition, I think he has to do the Welsh one just so I can be highly offended.
Is Dave Welsh?
Yeah.
See, this is it, man. I'm just not an accent guy.
See, I can do Welsh. You just, the valleys. Welcome to the valleys. Right, we have another message, another one criticizing your poor acceptance of your forfeit.
So I've just finished listening to the Black Phone 2 episode. Great episode as always. Big shout out to Heather. I loved all those voicemails. I was driving along laughing out loud. But yes, obviously I was just winding Mark up because he keeps calling me pervy and he was just being a complete hypocrite there, perving on you. But anyway, it entertained me. Also, for Mark's forfeit, I would like him to say, I love Becky really. She's not a perv at all, in a Somerset accent. Happy New Year!
Where the fuck is Somerset?
I asked Lisa this earlier, and I'm assuming Somerset is where you talk like a farmer, like that, isn't it?
So it's just a bit of a twang to the Yorkshire accent, then. Really, I probably could do that one quite well.
Go on then, but you can't say
no, not now. I'd need rehearsal time.
Yeah, and also you can't say that Becky's not a pervert because we're not going to do any false advertising on this show this year.
No, this is it. We're a true news group here on the show.
Exactly.
Already stating the facts.
We have some more.
Hi guys. Mark, you know I hate to do this to you, but I absolutely 100% agree. Steven Spielberg is massively overrated. This is my movie hot take. Him and Tom Hanks actually. They both do films that are going to be accessed with pretty much anybody guiding them. I think he plays it safe, he knows what's going to work, and he does them well. He's a good director, but I don't think he's a great director. Laters.
I mean, I agree, but the Tom Hanks comment is unforgivable. I watched a film called A Man Called Otto recently, maybe last year actually, or maybe even 2 years ago, I don't even know now. It was amazing. It was the best I've seen Tom Hanks, and that guy has done some incredible stuff. Apollo 13, Castaway, even Toy Story, just to be really off the cuff. But yeah, A Man Called Otto was absolutely amazing, and he did such a fantastic job in that. And I think the problem with Tom Hanks is, I mean, I haven't even mentioned Philadelphia for a start. I think he's incredible. Really, really good actor. I think he's just one of those people that became the go-to guy. As I'm saying it now, I'm thinking of amazing movies that Tom Hanks has been in.
The Terminal.
Big for a start, you know, and it's like, I think Tom Hanks is fantastic. You know, and I can't wholeheartedly agree with you on that, Dave. I think he's a very overplayed actor. I think he's used a lot in Hollywood, and I think that's maybe his biggest downfall. However, what he brings to the table when he is in movies, I mean, Captain Phillips alone, I'm the captain now. You know, like, he's fucking fantastic. You know,
have you seen The Terminal? The Terminal.
I haven't seen The Terminal.
The Terminal, he plays a tourist who lands in the United States, and then his country goes into civil war, and he has to stay in the airport. And it's based on a true story. And the way that, like, immigration just want him to leave, because as soon as he leaves the airport, he's someone else's problem. But he's so like, I'm going to follow the rules. He just doesn't leave, and he just finds ways to exist and live in this airport. He was there for like 108 days.
Wow.
He's such a, like, after a day, he works out that he can get like the ketchup packets and the mustard packets, and like one of the restaurants gives away free crackers, and he's making these little sandwiches so he can stay alive. It's really, really good.
Yeah, that's cool. I'll check that out. Like I said, I think Tom Hanks is great. I think I mean, The Burbs. You know, I just listing movies now that are coming to my head with Tom Hanks in, but I think he's great. I think that's an outrageous remark to make, Dave, to be honest with you. Not to go against you as well, considering you're supporting me in this moment of need, but the Tom Hanks comment's wild.
Yeah, I think it is as well. I think the Steven Spielberg comment is also wild, but we will move on before I have my rant.
Morning, guys. So it's Boxing Day, and I'm working my way through the UN Extra episode, and I'd like to officially request Star Wars, because they're fucking awesome. Well, the first three at least, the second three not so much, and the third three right, but yeah, definitely do the original 3 Star Wars, please. Latest.
I'm going to move on because there's an extra part to this.
Do you know what? I've got a great idea. Obviously, you guys want to do Star Wars. I love Star Wars. I know it very, very well. But one of my favourite shows growing up was Bottom. And I think it's absolutely hilarious. So I think it'd also be pretty cool if you covered that. So, Scott, why don't you put on a poll and let everybody decide between Star Wars and Bottom?
Right. So here's my issue with this.
Star Wars will absolutely trounce bottom in a poll. That's the issue with the poll.
It would absolutely annihilate it. And my connection with bottom isn't that great. Like, I love bottom, and there's a lot of stuff within like the Gasman episode and things like that. Like, I've seen a lot of bottom, but I'm not well versed enough, and I don't have the time in my life to go back and watch the entirety of bottom to be able to provide you an episode for it either. However, what I would be willing to do would be to do Guest House Paradiso, the movie, and intertwine my references that I have of bottom, and I'd probably go back and check out a few key episodes in order to do that as a bottom episode. But I don't think I could commit to watching the entirety of bottom.
No, and if I'm honest, if we poll them against each other, like the audience that we've got across social media, that's a landslide.
Yeah. Although this might turn out to be bottom only has 2 series. I don't know how long did bottom stretch, you know? I don't know if it's like a thing where it had like 10 series.
I think it was like 3 or 4, but either way,
I could smash that in. That's like 6 episodes of 30 minutes, you know. I could probably do that. I didn't know if it was a long running thing like Only Fools and Horses, where I'm going to have to go back and trudge through a hell of a lot of content to be able to do the episode.
We'll put the poll out. I honestly think it'll be a landslide, and we'll be doing Star Wars. And if we are, we're doing episodes 4, 5, and 6, the originals.
Yeah. I'm not, because I'm not a Star Wars fan, so I've seen. To be honest with you, if you said do the Phantom Menace trilogy, I probably wouldn't have to do any prep, because that's the Star Wars era I grew up on. But I will go back and do the original trilogy for sure, because as I said on that previous episode, I really want to check them out. So if you give me the incentive to do so and the poll wins, I'm there. I'll check it out.
Yeah, and if anyone else who's listening to this show has no idea what we're talking about, we have a whole other show called You Run Extra that's available on Patreon for that price of less than a coffee for a month. We have one more from Dave. Dave went voicemail happy over Christmas, so this is the last message from Dave.
Right, Mark, I've just got to the end of the episode with the spinny wheel thing, and yes, I've already asked for Star Wars because you both requested it. So, and say I pick shit to Scott, it's just wrong. You done Lord of the Rings because of me. That is just a fact, so put that one in your pipe.
And smoke it, motherfucker.
That is very true. That is very true, to be fair. That is very true. And he also picked Vampires, which is one of my favourite movies as well. So I don't know why you antagonize me, Dave. It feels very much like we're on the same page majority of the time. You pulled me back a little bit since you've come at Tom Hanks this episode, but
yeah, the thing is, you and Dave are on the same page all the time, and for some reason you bicker like children.
I don't know what it is. The cunt just winds me up.
Oh, fucking hell, there goes all the new listeners dropping the C-bomb on the first episode, Mac. Well, this is time for our new feature, and I was going to do a new intro for it. However, I just thought I'd do this.
Good Lord.
Good Lord.
Good Lord. This is the VHS Hunt. This is what replaces recommended account. This is where we give Mark the opportunity to showcase what he does best, which is spend money on physical media that none of us can afford. And if we can afford it, we can't find it because Mark already owns it. What piece of physical media are you showcasing to us this week? If it's not vampires, this is the first and last ever episode we do like this.
So we don't necessarily know how this format's going to play out each week. Sorry. However, if we're covering a movie that I do own on physical media, tends to usually be I think 2004 is probably prior to the end of VHS. Yeah. And it's also giving me a good shopping list as well. Because if I've got a movie coming up to review for the show next week and I don't own it, you can guarantee I'm going to buy it that week just so I can showcase it on this segment. So cheers for costing me money, Scott.
Do not use me as an excuse to get in trouble with your wife.
Tell you now, if my wife's like, why have you bought that? I'm like, well, because Scott has done it on the show and I have a segment now and I have to present it. So that's kind of what I'm going to be aiming to do. However, if it is a movie that I don't have a physical copy for, I'm going to try and pinpoint something that is relatable to the episode that we're covering. in order to try and somehow tie it together. However, unfortunately, not unfortunately, thankfully, this week we are doing John Carpenter's Vampires. And Bosh, I have there for you my shiny, shiny copy of Vampires, which is glorious. Keep your silica packs in your VHS, guys. You don't want them. You don't want that moisture getting in. Key element to VHS collecting, for those of you who don't know. And I also have the sequel, which is Vampires Los Matos.
Is it the same woman in the sequel?
No, however, they've used her face to generate the box art, but it's not Cheryl Lee in this. This is John Bon Jovi who takes over the role in this one. Not great, I'll be honest with you. And because I posted this on Instagram today to say we were recording tonight, someone has now informed me that there is a third Vampires movie, which I didn't know. And I think it's called The Awakening, and it's set in Hong Kong, and it's an action horror movie. This came out in 2004, and 2004 is like the worst year for VHS for collectors, because you have collectors who collect VHS of like the end of like the VHS run, and they're like the gold mines because they're very limited, because DVD was introduced and there wasn't many of them produced. There's a lot of collectors who churn them up regardless of genre or movie. They just want them because they're like the end of an era kind of thing. So Vampires The Awakening came out in 2004. And a lot of the times with movies in this type of time frame, they're usually just released to the US. So I posted about my Hellraiser franchise the other day and how I just incorporated Bloodlines, which I swapped out for the retail copy that I had. And there's only one more, which is Inferno. So that was Inferno was the last one to get released in European continent, which is a PAL release. So I need to pick up Inferno to complete that. However, the next movie in the Hellraiser franchise is Hellseeker, and that got a US release. So you've kind of got to pick and choose your windows when you're collecting VHS. For me personally, I'm just sticking to PAL. If it isn't got a PAL release, and I'm not going hunting. Not only that, because I'm a perfectionist and I like everything to line up uniformly on the shelf, and US releases theirs in cardboard cartons. So it would just annoy the shit out of me having all the British box sets and then a slimline carton at the end of it. So I won't be digging out that. But The Awakening Vampires 3 is one tape that has had a UK release. And when I searched for it earlier on this evening, it turns out it is ultra rare. So I'm fucking gutted because I thought I'd finished my vampire set, and it turns out I haven't. So all those posts that I've put in the past about how this is a complete set, it's not. And yeah, I'm now hunting Vampires The Awakening, and I've seen like the trailer for the movie and stuff like that, and it's fucking dreadful. It's going to be a really expensive tape, and it's going to be an absolute dog shit movie, but I'm a collector and I have to have it now. And that's a burden, guys. That's a burden. So tune in next week to find out what other dog shit I've bought to put on the shelf. And hopefully it'll correlate to the episode that we're doing next week.
Yeah, and if you love what Mark's just shown you and you are a VHS collector and you've got interest in this kind of stuff, or even you just want to see cool stuff from a retro time, go and follow Mark. He's at VHS from the Crypt. You can also get loads of his long form reviews at Reviews from the Crypt, and both of those accounts on Instagram. As much as I mock and take the piss out of Mark, his accounts are fucking pristine. I followed Mark before I friended Mark, before Mark became a co-host on this show. And I followed him because what he was putting on Instagram was top notch and still is the best in his field in both of what he does. So go and give him a follow on Instagram at VHS from the Crypt and at Reviews from the Crypt. Next week, Mark doesn't stand a hope in fucking hell of showing us any VHS, as we're going to be covering a brand new release with, well, I say brand new, newish, as we dive into Five Nights at Freddy's 2.
Yeah, don't test me, dude. I've got a list as long as my arm of what I can showcase next week.
Really?
Yeah. I will find a way. Don't you worry. I will find a way to incorporate the most obscure shit you could imagine to share on this segment that will tie into Five Nights at Freddy's 2, I promise.
Amazing. Okay, I'm happy with that. And that is it for us now. I hope you've liked our new format. We had a couple of technical glitches along the way, which if you're new to the show, we don't edit anything out. You get it all raw. We don't cut anything. We don't take anything out. Sometimes we say things that are a little bit probably on the line, and sometimes we make mistakes. That's just who we are here. We're authentic, and you get what you get. We've also, on our new release date now, we are now on Tuesday. So if you're listening to us on a Tuesday, welcome. And yeah, we'll be back next Tuesday with another brand new episode, which is Five Nights at Freddy's 2. And until then, see you next Tuesday.
Cheers, guys. See you next week.
You want to die tonight?
You're on podcast. You're on podcast. Late at night, I tune into your show where you talk horror with a unique flow. Your voice is like sirens, draws me in as you pick apart movies on murder and sin. Scott and Mark set the scene. I hang on every word, lost in the scream. Your passion for fear is contagious enough. You make me believe in Mark's fucking long round ups. You're on podcasts, horror movie reviews, sharing facts and playing games too. Your words paint pictures of darkness and dread, leaving me grinning long after you fled. You're on podcasts.